Yeah, I just pressed record so you can show the sunset. Wow.
Okay. Hi Malta, what's up? I'm from Buka Buka Islands, so I'm showing you around. I was actually giving an interview for Bloomberg. It was 5 days ago, and talking specifically about this topic. Yeah. So I've been living in Indonesia for 6 years already. I spent 3 years in Bali, and now I'm living on Buka Buka Island, which is in central Sulawesi. Just for the information, it's like 2,000 kilometers away from Bali. Yeah, initially in Bali, I was doing well, nothing. I lost all of my money when I arrived in Bali. It's a long story, but I stayed in Bali because I had no money to go back home. So I was forced basically to find ways to survive. I opened first a co-living, co-working space in Ubud. That was called Hustlers Villa. I did that for 2 years-ish. And then I had the opportunity to, visit a bit more of Indonesia. I ended up in central Sulawesi, visited Buka Buka Island, and like fell in love with the place. Like I had this, like the kid dream, like when I be older, I'll be on a private island, kind of thing. And I was like, well, maybe I don't need to wait until I'm older or rich or whatever, and I could do it, But the mindset is to be as sustainable as possible. So we're producing our own electricity. We produce our own water from seawater. We desalinate it using solar energy. We try to recycle, we try to reuse everything we find, like wood on the beach. We use it, driftwood, we build buildings with it, and so on and so on. I mean, I had also this idea of being by myself on a remote island. It just doesn't work this way. And I'm happy we managed to really be integrated with the local government. And that's something I think we can bring a lot of value with. Like, we're doing it on this island. I don't know if you heard, I am also working on, I'm going to develop another island, not so far from here, called Asasal. And this one, I actually want to develop it through NFT ownership. So it's also interesting. We can talk about it. And less than $1 million for the whole island. It's like it's actually 500,000, roughly. It's a 20 hectares island. And the idea I had with this one was, I was actually thinking, like, you see all of those NFT projects, like everybody's, like raising funds for NFTs and everything. I think like 99.9% like incredibly useless, right? And so you see it like when there's a crash and everything is crashing, and then you have NFTs backed by nothing but hype, and everybody's like, oh yeah, NFT is a scam and blah blah blah. And so I was like, hey, it would be cool to actually offer ownership of this land through NFTs. So you have NFTs that actually are backed by a land, right? So like worst case, you still own an island, right? Instead of owning nothing, right? Like a monkey picture or whatever. And so I started just with this idea, and I was like, yeah, that would be cool. Like, we could actually cut the island in small plots. The idea was created in the metaverse, built in the universe. So like, you imagine it in the metaverse, we built everything virtually first. We could imagine all kind of architectures. The idea would be to have a DAO upfront, not like 10 years after the project is out. So everything starts from the DAO. We build everything together with the community. Of course, it needs to have some limitations, because otherwise people are just gonna build like a Jurassic Park or a Disneyland Paris there or whatever. So we need to have some orientations in the DAO. But once you have that, then you co-build it and you share, the creation, the risk, and everything with the community from the first day. You build it first in the metaverse, which also allows you to see if things make sense. So yeah, actually, as you mentioned, this is like land ownership is one of the main topics, especially because land titles in Indonesia for companies or like foreigners is different than for locals, right? However, like, so this is just a way I thought about it, and I validated with a few lawyers already. A way to do it for the NFT ownership, and there's probably better ways to do it. This is just the one I came up with and that I think works well. So you build a foreign investment company in Indonesia. This foreign investment company has the rights to purchase land, properties, and so on and so on. But what you cannot do in Indonesia is you cannot, like tokenize this company. It's not legal, right? We don't have the framework to do that in Indonesia. It doesn't work. And also in Indonesia, like cryptocurrencies are not recognized as a currency, right? They started to like roll out some taxation, so it means it's good. They start to consider it as at least it exists, but it's not accepted as a currency. Everything needs to be entered the company in Indonesian rupiahs, right? So that's where you have the first limit. So the way to do it is, for example, you create a company in Singapore, I don't know, Estonia, Lithuania, like any crypto-friendly country which would allow for tokenization. I don't have the most recent list, but any of those countries.
Malta.
And Malta, nice. So you build a company in Malta, and this company in Malta you put as a shareholder of the Indonesian company, right? And so the company in Malta is the one with which you do all like the NFT tokenization, whatever you want to do, and depending on how you want to structure the project, right? And then everything will be backed by actual shares of the foreign-owned company in Indonesia. So that's the best way I figured so far. So you need to have two companies to do that. Yeah. And so you could have I say co-ownership, like co-utility of the place as a timeshare model. I guess then it comes down to the legality of it and how it's governed, right? Because there's a point I was thinking of is like do we actually want real estate to be so liquid?
I think this is when big breakthrough will come, because this will lower the volatility of crypto in general. When they know we can use this token in order to live together with Toma in Indonesia on my own island, on my own in my own house. And this is one. The next thing is, for example, digital nation states together with insurances who actually solve a real world problem. And yeah, so it's really nice to see that people with the right values use crypto in order to live the life. No?
Yeah, I think it's important as well to like to keep being aware that like let's not try to tokenize everything just for the sake of it, which it's a trend I've seen, and I think like everybody observed for the past years. Like it's good to solve problems that actually exist, and it's good to like identify which of those problems actually would be solved better with tokens, right? So for real estate it could make sense, but yeah, I've seen a lot of projects. It was like everybody was trying to create tokens for everything just because it was trendy, but it wasn't actually solving any problem, and it wasn't actually practical, right? And so I think in a lot of cases that you mentioned, tokens are like a great idea. I just think it's really important to spend time to actually identify which of those problems we're going to solve better using tokens or NFTs or like those kind of tools, and yeah, not try to tokenize everything just because like it's hype or whatever.
Yeah.
And then for your question, but in my opinion, for the DAO I wanted to build for the islands, it would be people who own a plot of land, right? So everybody who owns an NFT can participate in a DAO. The more NFTs you have, the more weight you have in the decision making, but it can't be linear. Otherwise, if you have 51% of the lands, then basically you decide everything, which makes no sense at all. So it is, yeah, we need to kind of make it logarithmic in a way. So, but still, I think it makes sense if you invested more, that your voice have a little bit more weight than someone who just take 10 square meters and on the corner and yeah, we don't know what we're doing. Like I think most of people have no idea what they're doing, and that's how it works. It's the beginning, right? So a lot of things, probably 99.9% of things makes zero sense right now, the way it's built or everything, but that's how it works. At some point we'll have some companies that do it well, and everybody's going to do it this way because then they find the right formula and it makes sense. And yeah, but so far it's a trial and error, I think. And something I'd like to help with is the way it is, we help local remote communities being developed using tourism or residential, and we do it by removing the barriers at the entry for international investors, because investing in Indonesia is hard. There's a lot of laws and regulations and traps to avoid. Being able to remove the barriers at the entry for international investors is something that could really facilitate the development of the Indonesia as a country, using those empty islands that actually locals consider as useless for some of them, which is interesting. Not done yet, and I really hope it's gonna be done soon, because Indonesia really need this crowd to come, and it's good that if you already have it in Malta. I went to Malta when I was much younger, and I loved the place. So nice.
Thank you so much.
Hey guys.
Ciao, ciao.
Thanks for having me. Good luck.
And have a good night.
Good night.
Yeah. Good afternoon, guys. Bye.